Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Today, I want to talk about the absolute magic and transformation that can come along with being inside of a mastermind. And I'm not just saying any mastermind. It's got to be the right mastermind for you. It has to feel really aligned for you. But it is so powerful what can happen when you do get yourself inside of one, when it does feel aligned. Oh my goodness, I've seen this and witnessed this with my clients because I have actually been running a mastermind. My mastermind is called the Soulful Six-Figure Mastermind. And I've had it for going on, this year is the 4th year that we have it. And I've done several rounds. I don't even know at this point, I can't count how many groups I've had, how many different cohorts. But it has been amazing to witness the growth of the people who have come inside and those who have stayed in it and done the inner and outer work around it and had that community support. Magic. It's magic. It's magic. It's magic. And it's actually, have you read that book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield? Good book, by the way. It's like an OG manifestation book. So Jack Canfield is actually, he's considered the #1 success coach in the world. He has over 65 books. You know, he's the one who wrote all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books and has written tons of books on manifestation and on success and runs workshops and all the things. He's been on Oprah. One of my favorite books, just because it's so foundational, is his book called The Success Principles. And one of his primary success principles is get yourself into a mastermind. Now, why does this work? I even think about it energetically, right? Because the people that you surround yourself with matters. It matters so much. In fact, I always say, if you surround yourself with the right people, with the right mindset that are also aligned with where you're headed, right? And they have alignment with who you want to be and what you believe about yourself and where you want to go. When there's this camaraderie within a group of people who are all kind of working towards the same thing and in this positive mindset and manifesting together and working through obstacles together, what happens is you actually have to do less mindset work yourself. Because just being in other people's energy, what I have even personally found is that I take on new thoughts, right? I take on new beliefs. I take on new ideas. I mean, I even noticed this whenever I met my husband and got married, right? So many of the things that, he had believed about money, I just naturally started taking on. And I realized, oh my gosh, I literally became more abundant. I literally started believing in myself more when I got with Josh, because Josh believed in me and he held that belief, right? And he had a much more abundant mindset at that time when we started dating, which was 13 years ago at this point. And I just started taking on some of his beliefs. It's just because the people that you're around the most, you naturally just, unconsciously kind of take on the belief systems of that. So that's why being in a really strong and sacred and positive container with support, with love, with community, with connection, it makes all the difference. And you'll find that you don't even have to do as much work on yourself when you're surrounded by that energy. So that is why I think it's really, really powerful to get yourself into a mastermind that feels aligned, right? And on top of that, it's just, as entrepreneurs, it can feel so lonely, right? Like we're especially, I don't know, depending on what you do, but I'm like behind a Zoom screen all day. I'm behind the computer, and there is nothing like being surrounded by other people who are doing the same thing where you're like, oh my gosh, I thought this was just me. Oh, you have the same thing. Oh, you have the same thought, right? It can be so supportive to come together and just not feel so alone. It feels so much more, I think, joyful being around others, right? Especially when you're with the right group. So it is really important that you find the right mastermind for you, of course. But I wanted to talk a little bit about mine, and the one, like I said, it's called the Soulful Six-Figure Mastermind. And I'm going to tell you about how it came to fruition, how it manifested, and what it's been like, what I've seen within my clients who have been inside of it. So first, let me tell you how it got started, right? It actually came from a vision. I truly believe it was a manifestation that came to life, because the way that it all came together was so divinely orchestrated. And the first launch that I had just went so well. It didn't feel hard. It felt like a really joyful creation, which is always a good thing when you have a new offer that just feels so aligned and you're like, have this vision for it, right? It doesn't feel as hard to sell when you're just in love with the idea of it. So let me tell you about the vision that came to me. It was back in 2021 when I had my coaching business. So I was doing two things at that time. I was doing one-on-one coaching, and my practice was full. I had a wait list. I was working mostly with coaches and service-based entrepreneurs, and really working. They were all working on kind of the same thing, on growing their business, working on their money mindset, working on their money stuff, because that's my specialty, of course. And I found that I would have 13 clients at a time. That's what was the max for me. That's what felt good to me. But all of them, like, I felt like session after session, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I was just talking about on the last call. That's what I was just talking about on the last call. And I started thinking, what if I just brought all these people together, right? I was like, first of all, my clients are awesome. Like, I really do. Not to toot my own horn. I don't know. I energetically just attract the coolest clients ever. I'm in love with my clients. That has never been a problem for me, is having misaligned clients, at least since I got in this niche, like obsessed with my humans. But I was thinking, what if I brought all of them together into a group? Like, this was the first seed that was planted, and I just coached all of them together. I'm like, first of all, I think they'd first of all love each other. Second of all, they're all in such a similar place. They're all working on the same things. So it's like, I can coach them and get so much more out of it, right? So anyways, that's what kind of like I started thinking about it. But the idea scared me because it felt very expansive. And I was just like, kind of, it was an identity shift. It was like, wait a minute, who am I to be a mastermind? Have a mastermind. Am I there yet? I don't know. It didn't, it's one of those things where when we move from something we've been doing for a while into something new, it feels scary. And there was a little bit of like imposter syndrome of who am I to do that? So I didn't move forward with it initially. But what I let myself do was just play with the vision of it. And I kept thinking about it. And I was like, gosh, how cool. What I basically thought about was, I want to create the mastermind that I wish I had, or the mastermind that I wish I was in. So I thought, what if I blended like all of the amazing transformational teachings that I learned studying spiritual psychology for all those years, blended with the community that I had there, right? Because that was such an incredible, life-changing experience where I really felt like soul connected, not only to that work, but to the people there. Like, it was an incredible community, and I loved having a community. So I really had that vision of like, what if I brought that into the mastermind, where I'm teaching the tools that I learned in spiritual psychology that have changed my life, mixed with setting this intention to have it be a very soul-centered, soul-connected community where everyone just like loves each other, that gets along, where it's very supportive. It's not one of those places or one of those masterminds where you feel it's kind of catty and everybody's kind of competing with each other, which I've only heard about, right? That's not been my experience, but I've heard about that. And I'm like, no, that is not what this is going to be, right? What if it's just a mastermind that feels like, soul sisters all together or soul friends, right? And then I had also the vision of, and what I'd also love to do is bring in high level coaching. I want to coach the heck out of all of them, right? Because I am a master certified coach and I feel like that is my zone of genius, right? Like I can get to the root of something in like 10 minutes and really help them shift it. So I wanted to bring those teachings from spiritual psychology and blend it with some ninja mindset coaching, consistently throughout the entire time, where they could have lots of access to me, where they could really get coached when they wanted to get coached. And then I also thought, I really also want to bring all of my favorite things like the energetics of money and manifestation and business. I love business. I have been an entrepreneur since I was about 21 years old, right? And I just love business and I've studied business. So I wanted to kind of blend all of this together to help my clients grow their business in a way that feels super aligned to them. My vision for the mastermind was not a 1, 2, 3 step process that you all have to follow, right? And fit yourself into this box of what works. It's more of, hey, I want to help you customize what works for you. I want to help you really get to know yourself, get to know your soul and your purpose and why you're here and what gifts you really have, what your specialty is, what you are really good at, and what way of business you are really good at, right? Because it is different for everyone. So this was never intended to be a strategy mastermind where it's like, these are the things that you have to do, which those are great, right? It's really great to go get those foundations or do courses on that or learn that stuff. But that's not what my vision for my mastermind was. It was way more like, hey, let's figure out what works for you. Let's get you in alignment with your business. And it's really about what is the energy that you are working from in your business, right? So it's very much about the energetics of business, because for me personally, that is what I have found to work. That is why my business has grown, right? It's been like 10% strategy. Of course, I have to learn that kind of stuff because you're growing a business. You need some foundations. But I swear to you, doing the inner work is what has really allowed my business to take off. And that's what I was seeing with my one-on-one clients. Like the more that they did the inner work, the mindset work, some of the manifestation stuff and the spiritual principles that I teach, it was like their business started growing, because when you do the work on your inner self, the outer changes, right? That is how it works. So that was my vision for my mastermind. And when I had that vision, it lit me up. And I decided finally to take courageous action. And I just decided to go for it and to launch this mastermind. And honestly, I wasn't even attached to it. I remember hiring a copywriter to help me with the sales page. And I was like, I would just be so happy if even 10 people came in. And she's like, Jamie, you're shooting low. She's like, I can see 20. Like, let's max it out at 20, right? And it's had evolutions ever since it started. But I do remember thinking, I don't really care. It would just be cool even if 5 people came. I don't care. Like, this is just something that I am going to love doing. I can't wait to teach this stuff. I can't wait for people to be inside of it. And first time I launched it, I had such an overflow of applications that I decided to break it into 2 different cohorts, because I did still want to keep it intimate and high touch. And I wanted to be able to coach everyone. And I wanted to be able to give that one-on-one support. If someone wanted to write in and get written coaching, I wanted to have access to that, right? So I broke it into 2 different cohorts, and it's been incredible. So I want to tell you what I noticed happening, because I would say at least 90% of my one-on-one clients, I had told them, hey, I'm not going to be one-on-one coaching anymore. I'm starting this mastermind, but I think you would love it. Like, I'm literally creating it for someone just like you. You're going to love the other people that are inside of it. Told them about it. So about 90% of my clients came into the mastermind. And what I found was when they moved from one-on-one into this mastermind container, they even got better results. Things started happening even faster. What's so cool, and this is what I am talking about whenever I say mastermind magic, is that when you are in a group coaching container or a group transformational container, here's what's so cool. I witness this every week. You will come and you'll watch someone else get coached or someone else have the hot seat, someone else working through something. And you're going to notice, holy cow, that is something I didn't even realize I had, but I so see myself in them. Oh my gosh, the exact same thing's coming up for me. I didn't even realize I wanted to get coached on that. Or it might be, hey, that's what I was going to get coached on, right? But you watch that other person get coached and you're really able to take it in on a whole new level. It's like there's no resistance. You're not, it's not as involved. So you're able to really take in the coaching. So even yesterday, I had a client because we had our mastermind call and she was like, by the time we got to her, she was the last one, asking for coaching. And she's like, oh my gosh, I was going to get coaching on this first, but she already got, I feel like we covered that. Then I was going to get coaching on that. Oh, then we covered that. So she found something completely different to get coached on. So it's just, you're able to take in a lot more coaching and have a lot more transformation in a quicker time frame. And that's what I saw happening for those clients that moved from one-on-one into the mastermind. And that is why I have been offering the mastermind for 4 years now, because it is so effective. It's transformational and it's fun, right? It's really awesome to have that community experience. And on top of that, in terms of my specialty, one of the things that I tend to be really good at is cultivating community. It's actually part of my human design. I have this 4 in my chart. If you are aware of human design, that's one of my numbers is a 4, which means one of my gifts is bringing community together. And I just personally, as a coach, really enjoy creating community and coaching a community. That is why both of my programs are that. I am not saying one-on-one coaching is wrong. I love one-on-one coaching. I have a one-on-one coach, but I also think having a community is super, super, super powerful. And in terms of what you offer, it depends on what you like. I have one of my best friends who loves one-on-one coaching, right? She's like, I just don't like the community vibe. I love high-level one-on-one coaching. So I think that's perfect too. So I'm not here saying one-on-one coaching is wrong or anything like that. But I do notice that when you are all when you get in a community where you're all working together on the same thing, it can actually accelerate the process. It can accelerate the mindset. It can accelerate the results and be very, 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 very helpful. Okay, so here's some of the things that I've noticed since I started it within my clients. I've had clients who have come in from the start of the mastermind who were literally just starting their business and now have done a couple rounds of the mastermind, because a lot of people actually just stay in it. They love the community. They love to get consistent coaching. And they have gone from 0 up to having a multiple 6-figure business that they're totally in love with. Right? And I do this survey afterwards, after the mastermind, to ask people, hey, what do you get out of this? What have you noticed is different? Have you noticed shifts? Have you noticed, we talk about what has shifted internally, what's shifted externally? What do you notice the differences? And I will tell you some of the top things that I get in these surveys. People say, make more money. That is super common, to start making more money when you really work on your money mindset. Also, stop overworking. That is huge, right? We are not about hustling. Like I said, this container, the Soulful 6-Figure Mastermind, is not just about creating results and manifesting, but it's about the way in which you do it. Learning to enjoy the journey, learning to feel good as you're doing it, learning to experience joy in business. I got to pop in and interrupt your episode because we have something very, very exciting coming up. So I don't want you to miss it. Here it is. The Soulful 6-Figure Mastermind is opening applications on May 1st. So mark your calendar because you do not want to miss this. It only happens twice a year. Now, the Soulful Six Figure Mastermind is a transformational coaching container. It is my most high touch coaching container. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It is for coaches and service-based entrepreneurs who are ready to grow their business using energy and intention and consciousness and basically all the things that you are learning on this podcast, only you really learn to implement it in your business with me as your mentor and coach. You get a lot of coaching, which is so incredible. So many shifts happen for my clients that go through the Soulful Six Figure Mastermind. And I would love to have you. So whether you are an entrepreneur growing to your first six figures or scaling beyond six figures up to seven figures, there is a spot for you. We have two different cohorts. We have our growth cohort and we have our scaling cohort. Now, if you want to get first access to applications, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to get on the wait list because we have a limited number of people that we accept each round for the mastermind. So go to jamieberman.com/mastermind and make sure you're on the wait list so you get first access to doors opening. Okay, I'll let you get back to the episode. They also say that they feel like they are doing business in a way that is so much more aligned for them. Because like I said, I like to really help my clients figure out what that is. What is the way that you want to grow your business using your gifts, using your natural energy, right? So they tend to feel way more aligned. Another result that we see a lot is that they actually enjoy marketing for the first time ever, right? So I have a lot of clients who come in and they're like, I hate Instagram. I hate posting. I hate social media, or I don't want to be consistent. It's so hard to be consistent, right? And then by like midway through, they're like, wait a minute, I'm doing this and I actually like it. And it's because they find the purpose behind it, right? They have the motivation because they have this strong why and it propels them to do it and they actually enjoy it. I have so many people, I'm even thinking this round, who have completely changed their relationship with marketing and are in so much flow around it. And that is so much fun to witness. Another thing is a lot of people say by the end of it, they just feel so much more confident. They feel more free. They feel lighter around money, like their relationship with money completely shifts. They're having more fun. Just overall, it's just more alignment, right? One of the other results that we see is that a lot of people actually start manifesting the things that have been on their vision board for a long time, or they really get started on it, like in a serious way where they're like, not just waiting around for it, but they're actively working towards it in a way that feels good. They're taking steps, they're shifting their identity. So it's been so fun to witness so many of my clients, like their vision boards are coming to life. And there is nothing that lights me up more than that. And what I also love is that they finally enjoyed the process getting there, right? Because I think a lot of the befores are my clients will come in before the mastermind and feel like, God, I'm like trying to force this, or it's such a grind. It's such a hustle. I'm trying to make it happen. And we have to shift that energy to actually get it to happen. So that's the work that we do in the mastermind. It's like no more hustling, no more grinding, right? No more trying to force yourself to do this. And it's doing it from a different place where it's not an I have to, but it's an I want to. And that feels so different. They also start using manifestation in like every area of their life, which is so fun. Whether that's like, I want to manifest that my kids are able to go to this camp over the holiday break, right? Like I've had clients manifesting that, or, I want to manifest this spring break trip, or I want to manifest, like I had one client who was like, I want new kitchen chairs. I'm like, girl, manifest it. And she totally did. She manifested the additional money for it. So it's really cool to see that kind of stuff. Like people are using it in all other areas besides business. I have another client who literally is in her dream relationship and she totally manifested her partner just using the same principles, getting in that energy. And the ripple effect is massive. Massive, massive, massive. So I say this to say, I highly recommend that if you are an entrepreneur, you get yourself inside of a mastermind. And if the Soulful Six Figure Mastermind aligns for you, or if you feel like I really love this podcast, I really love the work that Jamie teaches, well, my goodness, you are going to absolutely love the mastermind, because it's a way to get high level, high touch support from me. And what we're doing is we're really implementing it, learning how to live this stuff. Like, I'm holding your hand, walking you through how to really do this in your business, in your everyday life. So the Soulful Six Figure Mastermind, it's not for everyone. So it's specifically for coaches and service-based entrepreneurs who are in a phase of growing their business, and they want to do it in a way that's more aligned for them. So if that is you, it might be the perfect place for you, right? So it's not really for the person who, is just learning the skill, or who needs to still learn the foundations of business. If you don't have an offer, if you don't have a niche, if you are still learning how to sell, you've never had a consult or anything like that, it's probably not for you yet. I would say I would start with a little bit getting more of the foundations down first, and then come into the mastermind. Because the mastermind is great when you kind of have that phase one down, but you're ready to really skyrocket and really scale what's working, right? And really expand what's possible, and do it in a way that you really enjoy it. So it's really about growing your business in a way that feels fully aligned for you. And we do it using manifestation, really challenging your mindset and expanding what's possible for you. We go through spiritual principles. I do tons of different teaching. We do lots of coaching. And what's really fun, as of last year, post-COVID, I added in a bonus retreat. So everyone who's in the mastermind gets to come to my retreat for free. So that's typically midway through the mastermind. And that is, oh my gosh, it's magical. It's so fun to actually be able to get everyone together in the same room, be able to do deeper work together. I've had people say, oh my gosh, just the retreat alone felt like 6 months of coaching. Like, we go deep, but we also have fun. We all connect. I had another client say, oh my gosh, I've never been to a retreat where I felt like I was just on the same level as everyone there. Like, not in terms of the same income, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we were all on the same wavelength. And it was just so fun because everyone connected, everyone had dinners together. We had the best time. And there was so many huge, massive shifts that happened. So we do a retreat, and that is totally complimentary. You get that along with the mastermind. It's just a bonus. You also don't have to come, because the 6-month container in and of itself is highly transformational, super healing. I mean, you will leave a different person with a whole new set of soul friends after the 6 months, right? And you don't have to leave. You can continue on. A lot of my clients just continue on and keep, renewing the mastermind, and just keep doing the work and take their business to the next level and the next level and the next level. The fun thing that we also do that I didn't mention is we have sacred business projects. So every 6 months, you pick a new sacred business project. And the way that you think about it is just, what is the next thing that is really going to take my business to the next level? What do I feel really called to do or to learn? What area do I want to grow in? And we can create a project around it. So if you've been listening to the podcast, you might have heard some of the interviews that I've done with some of my mastermind students, and some of them talk about their projects. But projects can be really anything. It's very specialized to you. For a lot of my clients who want to expand their capacity for income and for wealth and what's possible for them, they'll pick a number and they'll say, I want to become an energetic match to 30K months, for instance, right? Like, I had Kelsey Carter, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and she was doing, I think she was doing between 8 to 10, 15K, just depending. It wasn't ever consistent, right? A month. She was like, I want to do consistent 30K months. And that was the project that she committed to. And we really did, for the 6 months, so much coaching around that, inner work, support, right? And then I've had other clients, like, for instance, Dorothy was on the podcast, and I think she shared about her project. And for her first round of the mastermind, she wanted to create her $1 million funnel, right? She wanted to create a funnel where she could get clients without launching all the time. And she did. She created the most incredible funnel throughout that 6 months. And that's what we really focused on and coached on. And what I love about Sacred Business Projects is it's like we do the inner work and the outer work around that. And there is something magic that happens when you constrain yourself to one main project over a 6-month period in your business. You will experience so much growth. The reason I created Sacred Business Projects is because that's how I've grown my business. I pick a new project every 6 months, and I really focus in on that. And there's something really powerful, like I said, that happens when you constrain and when you're focused on one main thing. Now, of course, you're going to be working on other things, but you need one main big thing that you're going all in on and really getting support around. Because what I find is that when we don't have that one thing, we can try to do way too many things and never actually get good at it or never actually complete it. So that's one fun thing that we do in this Hopeful Six-Figure Mastermind is everyone picks a sacred business project for the entire container. And I just really fully support you in making it happen and doing, like I said, that inner work and outer work to create it. So if this sounds awesome to you, if it sounds fun to you, if this feels aligned to you, we do have the mastermind launching very soon. So we launch every 6 months. So if you're listening to this in real time, we have a launch coming up on May 1st of 2024. That's when applications are opening. Now we keep the containers high touch because, like I said, I really like to be able to coach every single person and really hold your hand and support you through the whole thing. So we don't make it too crowded, right? I've been in masterminds where there's like 200 people and you really don't have access to the person coaching very often. Maybe you get coached one time, not as much, right? Like I wanted it to be something where you'd get access to high level masterful coaching consistently. So we do not take a ton of people in, right? We keep the containers intimate. So spaces are limited. So if you want to get in, you can either get on the wait list, or if it's open at this point, you can apply. And if you're listening to this past the date, just make sure to get on the wait list so that you know when the next launch is. It is truly such a magical experience. And whether you feel aligned to this one or another one, I want to encourage you to take the leap, to invest in yourself, to invest in your future self, to invest in something that's going to allow you to enjoy your business and make it so much easier and help to accelerate your results, right? So like I said, if this one doesn't feel aligned to you, find one that does, because as Jack Canfield says in Success Principles, surrounding yourself by the right people matters, and getting in a mastermind will only help your success. All right, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you next week. Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.